Hey guys, some of you asked for another one of my stories, and one of the ones I thought that I would talk about is what it was like to have an African American mother and having a mom that's not white. She was a black lady, and some people look at me like there's something wrong with that, and it's very offensive to me because when I didn't have anything, when there was nobody there to take me, when there was nobody there to take me in as a child, whenever I went into foster care, the lady that stepped forward and gave her time, her effort, her energy, and her love to save me and basically show me how to become a kid, show me how to be loved again, show me how to fit into a family was a black lady. I loved her to death. I still love her to this day, and I'd do anything for her. It sucks that I've lost touch with her. But this woman was so caring that it was just unbelievable. And we're talking in the middle of the hood. We're talking about 63rd and Green, south side of Chicago. No white people at all. I'm the only white kid going to the elementary school. There was no white people in the neighborhood at all. I mean, this is the hood. The hood. Watching people get raped and beat and stabbed and shot up on the same block that I lived on. We're talking dope houses on each end of the block where you can watch people go in and come out. This woman took care of me. She made a safe haven for me. She created a life that was something that I'd never had, and I still remember to this day. I remember waking up in the morning, and as I awoke, she would come in the room and she would say, "Hey baby, time to get up in the morning," or "It's time to get up, time to get ready for school." I'd get up and I'd smile, I'd see her face there, she'd kiss me on my forehead. I'd get up, put my clothes and stuff on. She knew I'd like to stay in bed, so she'd say, "Come on now, don't make me mad, get up." And she would get up, I'd get up, she'd help me get myself together. I'd get downstairs, I'd smell them sweet muffins and the corn and the sausage and the bacon and stuff like that. And it's something that you don't really see in a white family, those really nice, good corn sweet muffins in the morning. And I know some of you are listening to this and you're keto, and I just want to tell you one of my stories. I mean, I don't eat that stuff now. I would not eat that stuff now. I mean, the bacon, the sausage and stuff, sure. But I would get up, she would feed me, she'd make sure I have all my stuff. She'd walk me down to school. I'd walk down the street just a couple blocks to the elementary school, and there's an albino girl there, and she would see me in the morning. She'd say, "What's up white boy?" I said, "What's up black girl?" And we were best of friends. This is how we acted with each other. And there was nobody racist. Nobody treated me unfair. Even in the hood, where like it's the bottom of the barrel shit, like literally, sorry, excuse my language, but it's the truth. I was not treated unfair. I was brought in with open arms. I learned how to play basketball. I learned how to play football. I started lifting weights. I learned to play the saxophone, the clarinet. I got into my first fight. The guy's name was Scooter. I remember it just like it was yesterday. And there's always a problem child everywhere. Well, he wanted to meet me one day after school, and I'm at home and I'm kind of scared because I never got into a fight before. But I'm pretty stout for even a little guy. And I heard from the local kids in the neighborhood that he was looking for me, so I said, "Better just go find him, get it over with." So I went and actually found him a couple blocks away. He was walking towards me, and we ran into each other as I was headed towards his house. And it was right on the corner of Green Street, right across the street, down the street from where I lived. There's this old black man sitting on the porch. And just as cool as can be, would come out and give me popsicles and stuff while I was outside playing. He would try to make sure I got into the house. If he heard gunshots or seen people coming down the street that he knew was trouble, he'd tell me, "Hey, white boy, go ahead, get in that house, come on." And he'd look out for me all the time. And even though they used, we joked around. I call that girl black girl. She called me white boy. It wasn't a racist thing. It was a friendship kind of thing. It was something we built up with. We just built up with each other, and you just kind of don't have to be sensitive towards the word every single time when it's used with people or whatever. So that's just kind of my relationship. And older folks in the neighborhood that were all black. They would all look out for me. It's just a different mindset. Everybody thinks that when you go to these places that are built up on social media in the hood and everywhere else that black people are racist and white people are racist. I never experienced that. In the South, I found a lot of white people that were racist. But black people, on the other hand, I've run into very few black people that you can tell are racist. It's more white people that I've run into than anything. I know that's just a stereotype and that may be just anecdotal, but that's the truth. That's what I've run into more than anything. And I'm in the deep South now. And I can tell you right now, black people accept me more than white people in this area accept black people. And that's sad. Because people talk about racism is not real. Racism is very real. And I'm a testament to that. I can see it throughout my whole life. There is a different standard. There is a different treatment across the board. And I'm a Republican, and that shouldn't make you think of me any different. But there's other views that make me a Republican. But I'm a Republican, and most Republicans are ignorant to that fact. They won't admit it. Racism is very real. Mistreatment is very real. Unfairness because of color and stuff is very real. And there's a lot of prejudice, a lot of racism around where I live. But I've never been in a, like I said, south side of Chicago. You would think there would be a ton of racism. I was not treated bad at all. I was not treated any different than anybody else. I was held accountable for things I did wrong just like anybody else was in school. The teachers never mistreated me. And anyway, I run into this kid and we square up out front of this old man's house. I never fought before. I mean, I knew how to fight, but I just never fought before. And this old man is sitting right there on the porch, and he says, "Oh man," he said, "y'all can't do this right here. Go somewhere else and do it." He said, "If you're gonna do it, go do it somewhere else." And then he said, as we started to walk away, he said, "As a matter of fact, if you're gonna do it, may as well do it right here in front of me, so I can let y'all fight, get it over with, and move on about your business." But before I could do anything, that boy punched me right in the mouth, busted my lip. I was bleeding down my lip. Well, I just reacted. Well, I cocked back and I come back. I hit this dude right in the, boom, right in the side of his temple. Knocked him out. See, I had all this pent up energy and stuff inside me from being abused and beat as a child and being homeless for months and months and months before I went into foster care, living on the streets of Chicago, like eating out of the dumpster and trying to beg for food out of the back of restaurants at night. And I had to wear clothes that I would steal out of the Salvation Army drop box and stuff. And I had all this energy pent up and built up in me when I went into foster care that I took it out on this kid. And then he got up and he came back at me again after he kind of shook it off like I knocked him out. He was down for about 10 seconds. And he came at me again and he went to swing and he missed. And I hit him 2 or 3 times right in the face. Busted his nose, busted his mouth. And on the third hit, it knocked him out. He's laying there on the ground. His name was Scooter. And I stood over him and I said, "Scooter, I don't want to fight no more, man. I don't want to fight no more." And the old black man, he come off the porch and he said, "All right, white boy." He said, all right. That was pretty nice. But y'all are done now. You need to go home and he needs to go home. And I don't want to see y'all fight no more. Because he said, if I find y'all fighting anymore, I'm going to bust your ass. I'm going to do it myself. So he said, go home. And he's going to go home. And this is done. No more fighting. Y'all got it out like 2 young men. Now go home. So we both went home, and then after that, every day after that, me and Scooter were friends. We'd go play basketball together. We were shoveling the basketball court in the middle of wintertime just to get the snow off the court so we could just hang out, do things that kids would do, you know. So that was my life, and I never had to deal with anything disrespectfully or any of that. And it was pretty surreal that I had that life that I did, and I got to see what I've seen, and I get to witness to you guys and talk to you about things that I've seen in my life. Needless to say, another family did come along, and because of the dangerous circumstances of me being in the area like I was, what ends up happening is they want you to move to a safer place, and I eventually ended up moving to live with a white family, and that's my mother and my father now. So I appreciate your time. I appreciate everything, guys. Keep being you, and I really respect y'all for putting the time into me, and I hope I get to keep putting the time into you. God bless.